Anyway, there's lots of characters in our communities if you go looking. There was these two old bachelors that lived together, and they'd lived together all their lives in their house that their parents had made. They grew up in that house, the parents died, and they never changed a thing. They were sitting in there, and they talked to each other day after day after day. And, you know, big strapping men with hair hanging out of their ears and paintbrushes hanging out of their noses, you know. Big rugged men and with flannel shirts on and talking about mommy and daddy. It's just as if they were just as likely to come walking through the door as anybody else, you know. Anyway, they were doing some work on the road. Now this happened well, away from Morell, but I was aware of the story. I actually talked to the guys. They were doing some work on the road. And so one of the guys driving the gravel truck said to one of the brothers, "Would you like to come with me? I have to go to Glasgow to get a load of rock. Would you like to come for the drive?" And he said to either one of them. And one of them said, "Yes, I'll go." Well, geez, there was two more shocked people in the world. And that was the guy that actually asked him because they didn't expect that he'd ever come, and the brother who was going to be left on his own. Anyway, they thought about it and they said, "Yeah, you go." So he went over. And God, didn't they get over there, and the rear end went in the truck, and they ended up having to stay overnight until the truck got fixed. Very traumatic experience for everybody involved. The next day, the guy got the fella home, and he ran up the driveway to get back home. He was never going to leave again. So anyway, a few months later, the Graphic heard about this fella making his first trip off the island, and he came in to talk to him. And then he said to his brother, "Have you ever been off the island?" "No," he said, "Christ, I've never been off the island." "Would you ever like to go?" "No, Christ, no, I'm never leaving." "Well, why is that?" "Well, I like it here better," he said. One of the best storytellers I ever heard was Junior O'Brien from in Morell or Green Meadows, and or I guess if you want to be particular about him, it was Cooney Island. He told this story one time we were getting ready for the St. Lawrence picnic. And there was an old bachelor in his part of the country there that I guess he was just living on his own. The people were kind of keeping an eye on him. If you remember back 30 years ago, the old fellas would get in there, they'd get going to the co-op and they'd buy Perfection evaporated milk and Lane's white bread and they'd live on that. Well, you wouldn't be too long on that stuff and you'd start to go downhill then. So anyway, I guess the neighbors kind of saw this fella going down a little bit, so they said, "Geez, we better intervene here and have a look at him." So they went to see him and they said, "We better take you to the doctor." Well, the doctor kept him in the hospital. So he's in at the Charlottetown Hospital. And so the following Sunday, some of the neighbors decided, well, we better go in and see this man, see how he's getting along. So they went in, a couple of them went in, and they walked in, and God, they were quite surprised how good he looked. Well, it's a funny thing what happens when you feed somebody. And they washed him up a bit, and he looked pretty good. So the wife says, "Well, when are you coming home?" He says, "I can't come home until they tell me I can come home." "That's not the truth," she said. "You can come home any goddamn time you want. If you want to come home now, we'll take you." You know, she'd be all tough when there was nobody in the room, but put a doctor or a nurse in the room and she wouldn't say a word. But, you know, so this is what she was saying. He goes, "No, I can't make a move. I cannot make a move until they tell me." "Why not?" She said. "You can come home whenever you like." "No," she said, he said, "I can't." And she said, "Well, you tell me why not." So he grabs the blanket and he opens it up and he says, "They have me tethered by the trigger."